Welcome to everybody that has joined us live on TikTok, to the 9 people that are streaming us and have given us 228 likes. We really do appreciate it. Thank you guys. We just started the show. We are live also on Twitch. Thank you everybody for tuning in on Twitch. So if this is your first time here, my name is Esteban. I am part of Comix. This is Comix Podcast. Welcome to our world. And gentlemen, in the red hoodie is Ash. Luis is down there in the Nintendo t-shirt, and Andres is in a black hoodie that says Ghost with the Most. Fantastic.
It's sad that the prettiest one of us has the worst lighting.
Well,
it's weird that you had to look between Luis and Andreas.
I did have to look between Luis.
Luis. Also a little bit of a diss to Andreas.
So we want to go ahead and welcome everybody. So if this is your first time here, we kind of we talk about pretty much what's in the news, nerd wise, comic book wise, movie wise, things like that. We also get into what's currently on TV, what's not, what we're looking forward to, things like that. So to go ahead and jump into it, let's see, who's gonna do drink. We also go ahead and do drink of the week. So if that's the case, it doesn't look like anyone's got anything, so that's cool. I
got one just in case. So
fantastic.
Again, I am the guy that for a year and a half had the same 2 things. So
this is true. This is true. If you guys are just tuning in, Ash is the guy that has Evan Williams and Coronas. Sometimes he'll like twist things up and throw in a Truly. Maybe White Claws, every now and again.
Somebody left that shit here, but yeah.
Luis, Andres, and myself are more whiskey. Luis has become
way more whiskey.
I didn't know, but
sorry, I cut you off.
He's not paying attention. This is what we have to deal with every episode. Luis is becoming more of a wine connoisseur now, and Andres is our resident beer guy.
IPAs, everything. He's either heard about it or something. Like whatever we have, he's well in the know.
Absolutely. So this week we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and I brought in Elijah Craig right here, small batch, straight to Kentucky bourbon whiskey, 94 proof. It's good. Elijah Craig is known as the father of bourbon. So if you guys get a chance, pick it up. It's really delicious. It's really oaky. So it's I like that taste. It's weird.
You know what I mean?
Saying it, but I like the taste of oak in my mouth.
Yeah, you do. You love the taste of wood. So I'll go to mine, and then we could just make it a separate thing later on. Really not to try and talk over you. It just won't last a week. This is the only time we're gonna get this. I almost read it wrong. Olmeca Altos. Am I reading that right?
Sure.
Let's go with yes.
Well, okay. Somebody's usually heard of it. So it's a tequila. It's very good. The first one always it hits like no, and then around number 5, you're like, oh shit, I don't even taste it. It's really good.
Typically that's what alcohol does.
Scary. That's scary alcohol. Yeah.
It's not like Luis's Buffalo Trace gets you fucked up for cheap.
Fucked up for cheap, yo.
So not only do we provide some nerd and geek news, we try to diversify your palate with the delicious taste of alcohol. So moving on, did you guys, I kind of want to throw this out there because I think it was really, really cool, and I'm actually very happy about this. Did you guys see the Critic Choice Awards? No,
I saw highlights.
You saw highlights. Okay.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I have a theory on Brendan Fraser. It's Fraser. It's not Fraser. It's Fraser. Brendan Fraser The
It
Golden
is?
Globe. Yeah, it's Fraser. He's cleared it up. It's not Fraser, it's Fraser.
Huh.
Like a razor.
I've been saying his name wrong for years.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that because if you guys watch, I think it's on Variety's YouTube channel. They did interview called Actors on Actors, and it was Adam Sandler interviewing Brendan Fraser and vice versa.
Airheads.
Yeah,
Airheads.
exactly. So he kind of clarified it. He goes, I just stopped correcting everybody. You know, he goes, whatever. You know, he goes, but when they do say it right, he goes, it brings a warm feeling to my heart because they said my name right. You know. Anyways, long story short, if you guys don't know, the reason why Brendan Fraser fell off the face of the earth is because he was blacklisted. He was blacklisted because he came out stating that he was sexually assaulted by a bigwig in the movie industry. So he always swore that he would never go to the Golden Globes after that happened, and essentially nobody believed in him. So he didn't go to the Golden Globes. He is nominated for his role in The Whale, which from what I hear is fucking fantastic, and that's one of the movies on my radar that I want to watch. Unfortunately, he did not win. Austin Butler won for his portrayal of Elvis in the Golden Globes. But in the Critic Choice Awards, Brendan Fraser ended up winning for his role in The Whale. That man is so humble. Like that man is a national treasure. He is so humble.
It's the biggest second chance. It's like fucking when John Travolta came back. You know what I mean? Like in Pulp Fiction, now you're back to where you started, or not where you started, excuse me, where you left off.
Right. And that's the thing is that when he started getting all this buzz when he was on Doom Patrol and he started doing like the interviews and stuff like that, he didn't realize that he thought he was forgotten, you know, because he fell off and he got blacklisted. But he started noticing that a lot of people are like, no, like they still remember me, you know. So he started taking off. So he is a national treasure and should be protected at all costs. He's one of those where he said
like a Keanu. Like a Keanu.
Yeah, he's like a Keanu. He's probably going to part of the group of the actors that no one ever hates.
Yeah,
you know, Keanu, Tom Hanks, Brendan Fraser, you know, things like that. So he's a part of that group, you know. But his speech, his speech was just awing, you know, watching him, you know, seeing especially how emotional he got, you know, genuinely felt like he was forgotten. When he did his interview after, they asked him, so the next thing is the Oscars. Are you ready for the Oscars? You know, what are your plans to kind of get ready for something like that, you know? And he goes, and like with tears in his eyes, because, you know, very humble, he says, I'm going to go buy a new suit. He goes, I have to go buy a new suit now. And everyone just starts laughing. And he goes, no, I'm being serious. Like, I'm taking this a day at a time. Like, I'm not looking ahead at that. I'm thinking of the process and the steps I need to take to get there. I'm not like there yet. You know what I mean? So I think it's pretty cool that he's back. I'm happy that he's back. And I've always said, and I think the reason why I'm drawn to him is because he does remind me of my godfather. The way he talks and his mannerisms and stuff like that, he does remind me of my godfather. And it's funny, you know, to see him when he isn't doing his comedy stuff and things like that. So I don't know if you guys ended up catching that at all, but I know Luis, you saw the highlights and stuff like that. So that made me happy. Cheers to Brendan Fraser.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not all at once, guys. It's all good.
Cheers.
No, I was looking for a shot first. I was like, no, I just took one like a minute ago.
So,
oh, by the way, I'm gonna overthink it. When I said second chance, I meant like of being able to come back from where you left. I don't mean second chance like he fucked up. Yeah,
good.
I'm gonna overthink it. You guys know how I am.
In the highlight video that I saw, it's like I saw his speech that was very moving. But then there was also a conversation he had after the event. and it
Okay.
was, I don't remember the guy's name, but he's the lead male actor in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh yeah, that he was in Indiana Jones.
Yes. And so
Yeah.
he had a very heartfelt speech also. He won Best Supporting Actor in the Critics Awards. And his speech was along the lines of him asking himself, did he peak as a kid? Because he hasn't really gotten a lot of acting roles. And he's like, and he was found and he was given this opportunity. And he had said that one of the things that really impacted him was something that Brendan Fraser said to him when they saw each other at the beginning of it. It says,
Okay.
we're still here. Congratulations, we're still here. And like he has tears in his eyes as he's saying it, and he's just like it was just it just felt very wholesome. It was very sweet. It was just
Did you know, sorry, Luis, I didn't mean to cut you off, but did you know that he did the fight choreography for the first X-Men?
no,
Brendan
I,
Fraser did?
No, not Brendan Fraser, the Fraser, the other guy, the other actor.
no, I had no idea.
He did the choreography for, I believe, X-Men and X2, if I'm not mistaken. He did all the fight choreography for that.
Is that when
So-
he fights when X-Men Wolverine fights Mystique?
Yeah.
It's a fucking it's a cool.
Yeah. So, but to Luis's point, it makes sense. As like, did he peak as a child and then he moved on to being a fight choreographer? So it's just kind of like he went from in front of the camera to now behind the camera.
Mhm.
So which is crazy. Ash, I have to ask you a favor.
Yeah.
What else is on our list to talk about?
Oh, because of the first of all, Tactical Bacon from Discord 4 is his name, says rest in peace to Elvis's daughter.
Oh yeah, Lisa
I
Marie.
think that's when we brought up Austin Butler, but it's taken I didn't want to interrupt.
Right. No.
Sorry, I'm just getting back to we have Alec Baldwin, possible 5 years in jail.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I posted this video earlier today, and I kind of want to go around the table, and then anyone that's watching, I want to bring this to light because I know someone did comment on the video, so I want to go ahead and talk about that as well. So if you guys don't recall, last year there was a tragic accident on the set of Alec Baldwin's film Rust. Unfortunately, one of the crew members was shot and killed by a prop weapon, and she, as I said, tragically passed away. So there was a massive investigation that ended up taking place, and as of today, reported by TMZ, it looks like Alec Baldwin is going to be charged with involuntary manslaughter, that could lead up to 5 years in prison for her death. Now, and my question was in the video, and anyone that's watching us live, please feel free to chime in. Do you feel that Alec Baldwin essentially should take the fall for this because he was the one that fired the weapon? Or is it the armor's fault or the prop master's fault that it happened? So I kind of want to go around. And if anybody that's watching, go ahead and chime in the comments and stuff like that. Andres has got something to say. What's up, Andres? What do you think?
I'm assuming if they could prove that he was negligent somehow is the only way they would bring the charges up, or else there would be no point in bringing these charges up. I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to say that it was both because they ended up charging both, not just
Okay.
Alec. Did end up charging the I guess the armor.
Yeah, the armorer.
For the movie, as well as him. I guess they're going to say ultimately, regardless of whatever the prop master does at the end, it's the person who's handling the firearms responsibility to make sure the weapon is not loaded with a blank or whatever it was that ended up shooting the forgot what capacity she played on the film, but yeah. So I'm assuming that they have some kind of proof that could tie him as being negligent. So yeah, it doesn't look good I'm sure he's going to hire a nice lawyer and hopefully get him off or talk him down in a plea deal. But yeah.
Okay. Luis?
When the story first broke, they had mentioned that the type of blanks that they used, you're not supposed to aim that directly at a person. And
Right.
so, and that was where the negligence was like starting. Because at first I was like, oh, this poor dude, he's going through all this stuff. And then when the story started to like surface of people in the industry, you'd be like, well, even when you use those, which I guess is a dated technology, like they don't use these particular blanks anymore.
Well,
But
and
even-
I think the reason why is because of the type of the era of the movie, the type of prop. You know what I mean? So yeah, Luis, you're right. It's a dated technology essentially.
Yeah, it's like a dated stunt technology, but it's also, even still, you're not supposed to aim it directly at the person. You're supposed to kind of do offshoot. And what's really sad is that it seems like he was being silly when he aimed it at the director and shot it, and a fragment, whatever, lodged into the lung, and you know, we know the rest of the story. But yeah, no, it's a bummer, but there's obvious negligence to it. So I'm glad it's not a murder charge, manslaughter, that it got dropped down to manslaughter. But the facts remain that a person was around. This person, regardless of intention, is responsible for another person losing their life. A person that had family and like, and so I see that, and it's fucked up. It's messy. It sucks.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I always think back to that, like that first article that was released and the people that were in the industry of like talking about it. So, I mean, geez, we'll see, man.
Now, going to Ash, because I know you've been an extra in TV shows and some movies and music videos and stuff like that. I don't know your extensive filmography. But we're on any of the stuff that you were around, were you around like any like prop weapons or anything like that?
If they did, they never shot him. They would be like, okay, this is where she's like, it go to this, like the scene where she's about to shoot,
right?
And then it would probably, they knew probably they were going to go to like a close up on the gun or whatever, and there's no need to have any kind of that, you know. Plus, you probably have to bring the person that's going to make it, the blanks, everything safe, like everything. If it was by the book, it's crazy. And it brought up how Brandon Lee died. Like, that situation brought up how Brandon Lee died. Fucking same negligence, same, you know. I mean, there's a lot of, those are just huge names. One's in trouble is a huge name. Brandon Lee died. Who knows if it was like a different name? Like, would it be such a big, like, then it became a Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee curse, the Lee curse. Like, it took on a whole life of its own. But if it was like, you know, if I'm not gonna name a name because then it's gonna be a thing. If I got shot on set, it would be like, an extra got shot. Back to you, Jim. Whoa, it looks like the weather's fucking gonna be great today. Like, it, you know what I mean? But it's because it's a name, it's like fucking huge. When I first heard the story, I thought it was kind of a situation where I'm doing my scene, gun goes off as supposed to, someone got taken out.
Right.
That's how I took it. I didn't realize, like, until
that's how I took it too.
Yeah. Or, you know, it could be, how many movies does it show where like it goes to the camera, he shoots, it's a blank or whatever, but like you still have the imagery of, like a Tarantino movie has every one of those things, like especially DiGiorno. Sorry, Django.
DiGiorno.
I said DiGiorno because it was the D is silent.
DiGiorno Unchained.
Yeah, so it brought up how Brandon Lee died. Things like that need to be, it's crazy. Well, I was gonna ask, wasn't it an indie film? And the budget was like, we're using these blanks that should be faced toward a field and not a person. But like,
I honestly don't know as far as like if it's because of the budget of the film. But I mean, let's be honest, if they can afford Alec Baldwin as an actor, I'm pretty sure the budget was pretty hefty.
Unless they drop the budget on Alec Baldwin, which is also possible.
Right.
Because I've seen some indie films that have like a big name and then everything else is like not the best quality.
That was the whole point of Blockbuster. Like, oh hey, Steven Seagal, like in a random, not fucking Under Siege, but like some random, like hard to kind of kill. You know what I mean? Like all the ones that went straight to DVD.
Yeah.
So on our TikTok, we have Super Stevie 24. Hey, Stevie, what's going on? Thanks for leaving us a comment. She's saying that it's the prop master's fault. The negligence falls on the prop master, as it's in capitals, their job to check these things for the actor. I agree. I agree to a certain extent, only because if what Luis is saying is actually true, as far as, you know, that outdated, you know, stunt technology not being used, maybe, you know, they should have done it a different way. But if they knew, like, hey, you know, this shouldn't be happening, and if Alec Baldwin was acting like a child on set and it did go off, then sorry, man, it should fall as involuntary manslaughter for you. Because there has been, I grew up in a household with, you know, weapons and stuff like that. So it's like I learned very early how to use them properly and how not to use them, and when it's okay to use them and when it's not okay to use them, things like that. So I have that knowledge in the back of my mind. But I know these actors or these studios hire, you know, they hire these ex-military, you know, instructors that come in and teach the actors about gun safety and things like that. You know, it's taught to the prop master, it's taught to the actors and stuff like that. You know, so to hear something like this happens, there's negligence somewhere, whether it was Alec Baldwin dicking around with the prop gun, whether they didn't disclose, like, hey, this is stuff that we technically shouldn't be using, but like Louis says, based off of the budget, this is all that we can afford, you know, things like that. So now, because at first, like Ash was saying, I took it that way, like, oh, like it went off, you know. And, you know, but if it turns out that he was, you know, dicking around with the prop gun, sorry, dude, like, you know. But to Andres's point, I guarantee you, like he said, he's going to get himself a nice shiny lawyer that's going to get him a plea deal that's probably going to get him probation, which is going to be probation at his house, and, you know, community service or what have you, you know. So I think that's good. What's up, Luis?
I was just reading. I was looking for the article that I had read way back when. I didn't find that one, but there's this thing that I forgot that I just wanted to restate. That we may not, for those of us that may not have remembered from when the story originally broke.
Okay.
That for the most part, there are no prop guns. Prop guns are guns. So it's a real functioning gun. What it is a prop bullet, and it's essentially packed with a bunch of paper, but still with gunpowder, so it still makes the explosion and the smoke like a real gun, and so that these are still deadly up close, which is how this was used to the cinematographer. So it could still cause damage because it's still shooting out. It's just this paper, but I guess this little piece of it hardened. That's when it got into the lung, and particularly the Westworld director Craig Zobel retweeted and saying that there is absolutely no reason to have guns loaded with blanks or anything on set anymore. Everything of the sort should be outlawed.
I mean, he's not wrong, because a lot of this shit is done digitally now because I think it was John Wick 3 where all the flashes that came out of the muzzles were computer generated.
Oh.
So all the flashes that you saw during the firefight scenes that took place, those flashes from the muzzle, they end up, those are all computer generated. And fun fact, if you guys don't know, a lot of the rounds, okay, that are fired off, they do have a tracer on there. So when you see, like on CNN or in the movies where you see like lights, like it looks like a laser or like lights, that's a tracer on the actual round, because you are in a firefight at night, so you see where you're firing, you know, things like that. So
yeah,
fun fact of weaponry. Anyway, I just showed my nerdum that went a little bit deeper than I wanted to show.
Thank you.
Thank you. I know that there was another comment, and he's a friend of ours. A friend of my wife's and my sister's. His name's Dante Reyes. He has his own actual business, and he does a lot of films, and hopefully I want to get him to show up on our show. He did comment on that video that I posted, and he also said the same thing. It's the prop master's fault. It's the armor's fault. He's the one that's supposed to be taking care of this stuff. That's in his job description, that he should be the one doing this, and making sure that stuff like this doesn't happen. I will say though, if you guys do get a chance, I'll hold on. I'll jump back to you, Ash. If you guys do get a chance, check out Dante's stuff. His film work is fucking amazing. There was a short film that he did. All his stuff's on YouTube. You can check it out. You can look for him. I know his user ID on TikTok is D_R_films. So Dante Reyes Films. And check him out, check out his stuff. He does a lot of work. He's a really good actor. And the way that he captures the story is actually pretty good. So like I said, I want to get him on the show. So hopefully he'll do the show one of these days. Anyways, going back to Ash.
No, it's like I think why we're saying it's the prop master's fault right off the bat is because until today, we didn't even know, like, hey, there might have been
right
him just fucking around, whatever. Hey, I got lunch on you. Like, I'm not making fun. I'm saying, like, you ever know how he's fucking doing it. Even if he's doing like a reading and then I lift gun and shoot. Like, he's clearly done this a million fucking times. Like, I don't know. Again, unless he was like messing around, gun went off, but you wouldn't consider that because the news aren't saying that. Right. It wouldn't say like, but here's why. It's just kind of keeping all that part in the background, and you're like, well, I don't understand. Like, he's doing his scene. I think that's why we haven't thought about that. Yeah,
I'm sure it's gonna come out. It's gonna end up coming out more, when if it goes or when it goes to trial, So what about on Twitch, Ash? Does anybody throw anything in what they say about the whole Alec Baldwin thing?
No, but Cornholio Play-Doh says laugh emoji, oi, oi.
Nice.
Does say that.
I believe it.
Like, you're not throwing it over
Cornholio
Hamlin, and I'm just making shit up. Like, that's what he said.
I'm waiting for one of those days where Ash, like, there's no one on the Twitch stream and he just starts making shit up. Dick emoji.
Beckinsale in full underworld uniform says
uniform.
Sorry.
So Ash, what's next?
Yes, that's where his man, because I was like, please throw it to me because I have it open. What?
I have it
Mark Hamill returning as the Joker. I know the answer to that, but that's the next segment.
Okay. It's come to it's an end of an era with the whole Mark Hamill being the Joker. Essentially, he's no longer going to reprise his role as the Joker, which is actually really sad, because everyone, I mean, myself included, and I'm sure everyone here on this panel feels that every time you read a Batman comic book or a Batman story and the Joker's in there, you immediately think of the voice that Mark Hamill did in Batman the Animated Series. So unfortunately, Mark Hamill is stepping down from reprising his role as the Joker. He will be the Joker no more. And the reason being is because every time he said in an interview, I think the interview was with comicbook.com, he asked, every time that they would ask him, hey, Mark, we want you to come in and do the Joker, his first question is Kevin going to be Batman? And if the answer was yes, he would end up being the Joker. Unfortunately, Kevin Conroy, the legendary voice actor of our Batman, of our generation's Batman the Animated Series, unfortunately passed away last year. So therefore, Mark Hamill is stepping away from the clown Prince of Crime, and will no longer be reprising his role as the Joker moving forward. So if you guys want to reminisce and listen to Mark Hamill and the amazing Kevin Conroy, again, go play the Arkham games, watch Batman the Animated Series. So you guys will end up getting a kick of that. So yeah. So it's sad. I'm sad about that, but I'm sure everyone else here is as well. So yeah, Luis.
I think we could probably all agree with this too. I thought it was an extremely noble thing to say, of it being an end of an era, right?
Yeah.
It's Kevin Conroy was, the voice of Batman for so long, and it's like, and I know he has dangled this idea a lot of not coming back as the Joker. And he always ends up coming back. Be like, oh, I'm done. And then comes back. And then he's like, if I do the Killing Joke, that's the last one. Right. Killing Joke happened. And then there's like another one that he's like, oh, I'm gonna do that too, And but like now to just say like this is great. I have a great legacy with Kevin Conroy. A tiny segue from it. So there's a movie that just released on HBO, the Battle of the Super Sons.
Yes.
First of which, really well done film, animated film. Yes, you can watch it. I watched it by myself because I don't like to push my fiance to like watch all the nerdy shit. So when I do ask her to watch, it's like
you'll preview it first.
Well, usually I'll just be like, oh, if I ask her, I know she'll say yes because I don't ask her to watch everything. But this is a genuinely good movie that I think you can watch, with your significant other or family. Like, it's a genuinely good story. My point to this is it wasn't Kevin Conroy as Batman. It was Troy Baker, which he has been stepping in as Batman a lot. It's the voice actor that did Batman and Batman Origins for the Arkham games.
Yes.
And I thought he did a good job in the games, and he did a good job here. I mean, granted, it mainly focuses on Damian and Jonathan, but very well done movie. It has a lot of heart. Recommend it. But it's just, as I was watching it, I was before I saw the credits, I was like, oh, I wonder if it's gonna be Kevin Conroy. And then you hear it, and you know that it's not, but you can hear the inspiration of what it was of just and. As sad as that made me feel, like for the first moment hearing it, it's just like this is like the start of a new era,
right?
And so then when I read this news article, I was just like, you know what, I respect it, I dig it, like, and then let's keep moving forward on, so that way when you watch it with your kids, Esteban, or you, Andres. Or you, Ash, you got kids and stuff, like watch it with them. It's like, oh, this is cool. We'll be like, well, this was my, like, and then it's like, it becomes special. It's sure what it meant to you or whatever.
Yeah. But there was one day, I think it was like a Sunday. It was like a Sunday afternoon. My son Gilbert was playing on his Switch and wasn't really paying attention to the TV. My youngest one, Arturo, now the middle child, comes up to me. He goes, Dad, I want to watch TV. And I said, okay, cool. Turn on the TV. What do you want to watch? He goes, I don't know, you pick. And I go, you want me to pick? And he goes, yeah, but a cartoon. And I said, okay, cool. I go, anything that I want to watch or anything that I want? He goes, yeah. And I said, okay. I go, you want to watch Batman? He goes, yeah, let's watch Batman. So turn on Batman the Animated Series. He sat there throughout the whole thing, jaw on the floor, watching the shadows and Batman and asking me questions. Why is he doing like that? How come he talks different like that? And why is he it was pretty cool to kind of see that and to kind of explain that stuff to him. So I was really happy about that. So I asked him if he wanted to watch Batman the other day. He's like, nah, I don't want to watch Batman. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
It was a one-day thing. Got it.
So I'm the asshole. Got it. Okay, thanks. So yeah. Are you guys Tron fans? No.
I enjoyed that last Tron.
The Tron Legacy?
Whatever, like 10, 12 years ago now.
So there's a new Tron that's in the works right now. Tron 3. It's going to be called Tron Ares. With our favorite actor, Jared Leto is going to be in the movie.
That is a weird casting.
It is. It really is. But I think they're, because the screenshot that they used of Jared Leto was him in Blade Runner, the 2042. So I think they probably, I haven't seen that Blade Runner yet. I still only saw the first one. I haven't seen the 2042 yet. But yeah, I think they're going based off of his role there. Because that's the one that I keep seeing with the news, is that specific screenshot is that one. I kind of feel like, don't get me wrong, this is how I feel. I feel the same way when I found out that Avatar was coming back, The Way of the Water, or whatever the fuck it's called. So I kind of feel the same way about this Tron, because the first Tron was amazing. It was, I mean, as a kid watching it, it was great. You know, the second one was fucking fantastic, you know, with Olivia Wilde and Jeff Bridges, and, you know, it was fantastic. I loved it. A lot of people are just like, oh, the what was it, the computer graphics and stuff like that. I think the computer graphics were ahead of its time, at least I think, you know, in certain scenes. But yeah, I was happy, and I was looking forward to another one. And I think Andres is right. I think it's been like 12 or maybe 15 years since Tron Legacy came out. I kind of don't care about it right now, because like it's been so long, kind of like with Avatar, where it's been like 20 years since the last one. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get hyped later, you know, especially if certain actors come back and reprise a role, you know, if we see Jeff Bridges in there. Well, no, Jeff Bridges wouldn't actually be in that one because of the way that they ended the second one. So yeah, basically
a reboot or a sequel or I don't know, reimagining. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, it didn't say. It just said that Tron Ares is greenlit at Disney. That's all it said. You know, so I'm just kind of like, okay, like I don't think it needs a reboot or a reimagining. I mean, whatever, you know. So we'll see. I mean, how do you guys feel about Tron? Yes, and I did have to say it just like that, Ash. Tron. Hey, that thing's kicking in, huh?
I thought the whole fucking Tron, okay. The one that came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
It looked so blocky. The whole thing was just bad.
You what? Go fuck yourself, man. That's such a good movie.
How dare you, sir?
It's
I kept, because I actually played Tron, and all I could imagine was the whole little whatever, and then
fucking Atari. It doesn't count. We're talking about the movie, you dick.
I know, but it just was dated for
program.
Yeah, the whole thing isn't. It looked like fucking not War Game. What's the one with Matthew Broderick? And it's supposed to be all high tech. But yeah, War Games. Yes, then War Games.
I was gonna say you said no, but it's exactly.
It is War Games. I like the graphics look like that. Like when you're watching the movie Hackers and they're just showing you pretty things, when really what you're looking at is like a whole fucking flow.
You're just really looking at DOS.
Yeah, right. Like it's just all DOS.
Right? It's like in the 90s, every edgy movie had a hacker in the group.
Yeah.
And he's just like click, 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 click. I'm getting into the mainframe. It's like, I don't know what that means.
No, the best hacker in a movie was in Terminator 2, where they go to the ATM machine.
Oh, yeah.
Out of it. It's like, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
You ever seen The Italian Job?
Yeah.
And they had a hacker, and it was Seth Green. All right, I don't. Oh, it's a green light. Okay, in 5 seconds, it's gonna be a fucking red light. And then all these trucks fall over or whatever, and he plans it all perfect, but he's watching like on a fucking MacBook. It's fucking crazy.
I think the one thing that I think that every like 90s movie that had a hacker in there, the one line that was constantly being used was, oh man, their software security is so sophisticated, blah, 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 but it's never met me. And then they
Or it's like, oh, fucking, they couldn't figure out the algorithm or whatever the fuck, and it would be like, oh, let's talk to Butterfly 06. And he's like, I'm in. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird 90s.
Have to hit enter. Like,
We gotta talk about that later. And then some kind of fucking prodigy would start playing or something.
yeah, it's always back my bitch. Oh,
And all the fucking, like all fucking
camera's like zooming in and out of the guy's face.
That's a lawnmower man.
X equals what?
Lawnmower man.
Yeah.
No, but it's funny because like, yeah, like every 90s movie had a hacker. Like the
Yeah.
one that like comes to mind is Swordfish. You guys remember Swordfish?
Yes.
Yes.
Like that was like one of like
I remember in Swordfish.
X-Men's movies like right after X-Men, you know. So he was all the hacker and shit like that. That was like it was ridiculous watching that. So, but yeah, it's like I think of that and it's fucking cliche. Like what I would always say, it's like the 90s drummer in every music video where he's you know, it's just that like that was you know, like that's what it was, you know.
What? Dude, John Travolta was horrible in Swordfish.
Of course.
Oh, it's so bad.
I mean, have you seen him in Battlefield Earth?
No, that's the
Trick question. No one's seen it in Battle. No one's seen it in Battlefield Earth. That shit was ridiculous.
To find out it was all about Scientology. I'm not talking shit about a religion, but like it's just weird that I wouldn't have even put the connection
about that religion.
Huh?
Huh?
What? Have I talked shit about that movie? I've never.
No, I said Scientology.
Yeah, no. You just don't want to talk because in like fucking 10 years, if it's something that takes over, like, hey, 10 years ago, this fucking podcast was talking shit about Scientology, like, and it becomes like an accepted, you know, into the fucking crease of something.
I don't think so. What happened, Andres?
That Ash doesn't want to say anything bad because they have his information already.
I keep getting the emails.
He's just banging on his door. Open the door, Ash.
Come on, hey, it's Tom Cruise.
Welcome.
My door, like, hey, I'm wearing the Maverick fucking coat.
Yeah.
I might go out and fucking check out that fucking bicycle. Right?
A bicycle?
I said a bicycle.
Speaking of bicycles, one of
Wonderful transition.
I don't know if you guys remember one of the greatest 90s cartoons. No, it's
Not even close.
Street Sharks?
No, Biker Mice from
Close. It's
Street Sharks? Is that what you said?
yeah, Street Sharks and the Biker Mice from Mars that were both ripoffs of Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But although the Street Shark toys were the shit with Vin Diesel with the little puppet.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was Vin Diesel. I saw that the commercial resurface on Instagram recently. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a hit like a really young Vin Diesel wearing like a fucking leather vest, and he's like, "These sharks mean business," and he's like biting shits of cardboard. Like, it looks so fun.
It's gonna like at his next movie premiere, like everyone's gonna be bringing out Street Sharks. Hey, Vin, these sharks mean business.
Yeah, Biker Mice from Mars. It's like it was such a ripoff. I mean, don't get me wrong, I watched it. It was on Channel 13. I definitely watched it, but yeah.
UPN Channel 13.
Yeah.
I think it was before it was UPN, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. Biker Mice from Mars is coming back in another iteration of cartoon form, kind of like what they did to the Thundercats back in 2011. And it's coming out with a new toy line as well. But it's funny because I saw that and I started thinking about 90s cartoons that I would watch right before I'd end up going to school, walking to school. Do you guys remember King Arthur and the Knights of Justice?
Mm-mm.
No?
Yes.
Yeah, Andres, yeah.
They were a football team who were going to a game, and then there was like an earthquake or some shit, and they got taken to another dimension.
What the fuck is no?
The quarterback was King Arthur. And King Arthur.
And the Knights of Justice.
That is the dumbest premise to a show.
Look at Ash. I just saw it as if it was fucking Shark Tank, and Andreas was explaining the plot to his movie.
Like, sold.
I'm out.
Come on, Mark Cuban, you bitch. Give me your money.
There's this and there's that. Like, oh my god, that sounds like a bad movie.
There was
Oh, I
that.
never heard of it, but
No.
no.
Do you remember Mad Max? Was it
Cartoon?
Mad Max?
Montana? No. It is Mad Max. It was the boy version of Polly Pocket.
No. Mighty Max.
Thank you.
Mighty Max was the shit, dude. Virgil was
wasn't
the
Virgil was the owl.
Virgil was the foul, yeah, and then Simon Norman was the bodyguard.
I thought he was dope because he had a chain as a belt. That's the one thing.
I do not remember the character design. I just
So did
remember the
J-Lo.
kid with the hat. But yeah, he was the boy version of Polly Pocket. It was like it was a toy thing.
Yeah. There was that.
I love that cartoon. Cartoon was a shit.
What about do you guys remember Ronin Warriors?
Oh my god. That sounds very familiar. I can't place it, but
This is like bad Nintendo games. Like when you couldn't get fucking Contra, you got the game called, or you couldn't get Double Dragon, you ended up getting a game called Bad Dudes. That is a complete
Bad Dudes?
ripoff of
You don't know what you're talking about.
Dude.
Bad
Yeah,
dudes.
Contra, the Akari Warriors came out. Like
Akari Warriors?
let's make it that game, but not that game. That's what it sounds.
Russian Attack was a good game. Get out of here.
Oh shit, yeah. Well, that's like the first 5. And you have to stick out.
Speaking of like 1990s cartoons, this one's a really rare one. So I don't know. It was fuck. I'm gonna have to go look it up because I don't know the name of it. It was alien dinosaurs that landed on Earth, and they would fight evil dinosaurs that also crash landed on Earth. And there was like humans. Fuck. Let me go look it up. Talk about other stuff.
All right. That sounded like Transformers when they all became. Wasn't Primus? Didn't he become an ape?
Wars.
That was Beast Wars.
Yeah, Transformers. Yeah, the Beast Wars Transformers.
That's what it sounds
I
like.
think I know what you're talking about, Andres. Like I picture it, but the only one that comes to mind is Dino Riders. But I don't think it was Dino Riders.
Riders.
Huh?
I don't think it was Dino Riders.
No.
I'll look it up. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
You guys remember Imaginaries?
No.
Is that the one where they had a hologram? They were knights.
Yeah, it matched their cat or their fucking whatever was on their.
That is an 80s cartoon. That was so good.
Yeah, fucking.
I don't
I
remember.
had a fucking tape. Imaginaries.
No, I don't remember that at all. The only ones that I remember from the 80s were Thundercats and Silverhawks. Those are the only ones that were like embedded in my brain. So
Dinosaurs? Was that it?
Dino Riders were the shit too. Because it was no, I don't think it's the one that you're talking. I don't think it's that one, but
It is. It's Dino Saucers.
yes, Dino Saucers.
What the? These all sound
You remember
bad.
Dino Saucers?
You guys had cable or something because I don't remember anything.
I don't remember that. No, that sounds like Channel 13 cartoons. They were like on a different league.
Did you turn it to channel U and then turn it down to like the second knob goes on 20,
shut up.
7?
I had illegal cable growing up, sir. I didn't have to do that bullshit. We stole cable when I had what I had.
Well,
Dude.
you see the generation I'm coming from.
There was this cartoon, and I don't remember if it was the 80s. It was probably the 80s, but it was. There's two of them that I think one of them was called Lone Star, Sheriff of the Galaxy, or something like that. There's that one. And then there was another one where this dude wore these bracelets on his wrist and he transformed into a car.
Dude, these do sound like horrible pitches. Like,
so bad.
like this.
I'm out.
Bad. Oh fuck.
Turns into a car. But here's the twist. He's not a car. He's a guy.
That's good.
Yeah.
It costs how much? All right, let's do
I
that.
like it.
Fuck, these sound bad. These sound so bad. Again, I'm hearing them. You explain the basic plot of the cartoon, and I'm like, no, it's just bad. This is I feel like we're investing in it, and like, no, we can't do it. We're just coming up with different scenarios. I'm sorry.
Mighty Max was better than it should have been, because I mean that was a show created around a toy line.
Yeah.
The toy line happened, and they're like, we need to make a show to fucking sell it. And then that show was the fucking shit, and they ended it after a season, but they did it smart, because the last episode looped back to the first episode, so you could just keep watching it. Do you guys remember that?
I do not.
Skullmaster, was that his name? Whatever the bad guy was.
Yeah.
At the very, very end, they're like having their final battle, and then Norman dies, Virgil dies, and then spoiler. And then so like he hits like this artifact that resets time, and so it goes back to the very first episode. And then so
genius.
It is, because it's like you could just keep watching it over and over again, and then
Holy crap, that's genius.
So as a kid, I remember it blew my little mind. I was like, oh my god,
we're in a never-ending loop.
Yeah. So
you ever get one of those books where it was like you got to a certain page and it was kind of like hey, to continue down Cassie's storyline, skip to page 84, and like you can make it kind of your own story kind of
I used to read the Goosebumps, the Choose Your Scare, where exactly that. Do you want to have a sandwich? Page 13. If you want coffee, page 12. And then you go to 13, it's like you're dead. It's like, what the fuck? Go back. Like, how did that determine my death? Like, and so, but I would always save it and then just see, I'm like, am I gonna die here? And then keep reading. Yeah.
Because you ate a peanut butter sandwich. By the way, you're allergic to peanuts. You're dead.
You're dead.
They probably had so many outcomes for every single thing. Like, it's probably a lot to think about. Okay, so what happens in this one? Oh, he started a lawnmower and chopped off his daughter's. Like, dude, that's horrible. Like, it's Final Destination.
Yeah, like I remember, like one of the ones that I had read. That was like you're starting the adventure, and it's like, oh, let's go to the haunted house. And then if you go to the haunted house, page 9. If you don't go, page 2. And you go to I go to page 2.
Dino saucers.
And then, oh shit, that looks familiar.
I remember that.
I remember the visual.
Yes, I remember that.
I remember the visual. Yes, Your Honor. I remember the visual.
I remember that. I remember the animation.
Yes, Your Honor. I was holding the gun up and down like this.
Right.
Went off.
So I did want to talk a little bit about, now that we're talking about nostalgia, about the 30-year anniversary to Power Rangers that's going to be on Netflix soon.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of we were talking about Micro Mice from Mars. Which is a clone of Street Sharks, which was a clone of Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Did you guys ever see any of the Power Ranger clones? Like one of the ones that comes to mind. Beetleborgs was one of them. I was a little old for Beetleborgs, but I remember it being on TV. The Jay Leno looking motherfucker. That was in the house. But there was one that was earlier on. Superhuman Samurai.
Yes.
Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, because my brother had the toys. I loved that one.
Dude, the toys were legit. I had the dragon and Servo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think that came out like right around the same time like the Japanese craze was happening of like the Super Sentai Warriors. Yeah. And then Power Rangers came out.
VR Troopers.
VR Trooper. And that was Saban. That was the same company. Yeah.
So, okay, question. Do you feel like they just, it's been 2 years. Saiyans are in now. Let's make them all Saiyans. Hey, ninjas are in this year. They're all ninjas. Like between them going, like when Voltron went from cats to bikes, it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, they keep trying to harness that spark, right? Like Godzilla was big in Japan, but it didn't blow up here until like 80s, 90s, like when he became a superhero, when it's like this week is Godzilla versus Gigan, Godzilla versus Ghidorah, like, and it became like a one-on-one fighter and he's fighting for good. But like when he was destroying the town, nobody gave a shit, or at least here. And the it became a genre in Japan in the 80s of like I forget that guy's name, but it's like a dude, essentially a super huge dude that's fighting all these monsters. And so that was
Ultraman.
like Ultraman.
Ultraman.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so then it was that dude. And so Power Rangers is essentially an evolution of that. It's like, oh, here's these people that are in suits that then go into these robots. Like it's a concept that they've redone and redone and redone. And the original Power Rangers, it was all Japanese footage, but they hired American actors to just be like the kids in the suits, but then, or I'm sorry, the kids in school. But then when all the action scenes, that's all the Japanese footage from the original show called Super Sentai Warriors.
You can tell.
I never realized it as a kid, but
you are fucking full of shit,
dude. I swear to you, like
Rita
would talk.
You couldn't tell. You couldn't tell like the film quality from one to another.
No, I couldn't. Like dude. I was a kid. Like Rita Repulsa was speaking Japanese, but it was dubbed, and so because I remember meeting her as an adult, like at a con. And it's like, you look nothing like Rita, but it's like, because she's the voice of, make my monster grow, whatever the fuck. And then it was
being that they use that footage from over there for him coming over here. Did they use like a similar actress, or is it been?
No, it's all dubbed. It's the Japanese actress that is Rita.
All the new shit that comes out. It's all, or was Rita Repulsa on?
She was swapped. Well, she was swapped out eventually. Once it turned into an American thing, Power Rangers. And one last thing about Power Rangers I'll say, and then we'll move on, but because Tommy was so popular as the Green Ranger, they kept that storyline, but they didn't want to transition him off the way that Super Sentai Warriors did. So the next season of Sentai Warriors, they all wore a different suit. But that's why the White Ranger is the only suit that looks different from all the other Rangers, was because that was supposed to be from the next season. But they're like, no. Let's keep Tommy here, Tommy Oliver, and then we'll turn the Green Ranger into the White Ranger, and then we'll just keep moving it that way. And then it just, turned it. Super Sentai Warriors stayed its own thing, and then Power Rangers was created, essentially.
So the way that I took that was it was him becoming a stronger Zord, like fucking Gandalf the Grey to the White. I thought it was. But it was just a necessity, like, we have this footage of the White Ranger, let's just make him white.
Something like that. Yeah. They're just like, we don't want to get rid of him yet. Because Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin, the line has already become such a brand, they didn't want to move it. So they're like, let's milk it a little bit more. And so they're like, they kept it Mighty Morphin for a little bit longer until.
But but what I'm saying is you took that as the evolution of Tommy, right? Didn't you guys go from Green Ranger to White? Like, became like a bigger deal.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But like, the reality was like
they sold it only because like we got footage over here that we
really want to use this stuff. Yeah, it was all the same money.
Not only that, but I don't know if I'm sure you guys know, but for those that are watching us on Twitch and TikTok, if you guys look at the Super Sentai footage, obviously we had 3 guys and 2 girls, and Trini, who was the Yellow Ranger, when she would transform into her suit, the Pink Ranger was the only one wearing a skirt over her pants, and the Yellow Ranger was. That's because in the Super Sentai one, the Yellow Ranger was actually a dude.
Yeah.
So, it was a little weird, just be like, well, how come? I don't think anybody really cared because everyone was all in love with Amy Jo Johnson.
Oof. Yeah, it was.
Oof.
She taught me feelings I didn't understand.
But it was always weird that they'd be like, we have to go hit the heart of it. Like they would talk as they moved, right? It was always weird. Oh no. And the putties, I don't know. I lived through Voltron. Like Voltron was way better.
God damn you.
Nostalgia.
Dude, Voltron, when that fucking cat's head comes off and it fucking kills that monster when it goes, the head goes through it. Like, yeah, you don't get cartoons like that anymore. That's the whole reason when they sold the game, I was gonna say gimmick like wrestling. When they sold the toy, you press it whatever, and the cat's head comes off. And then you can fucking put the actual person in, and they fit in the toy. That's fucking cool, man.
God, good times.
See, look at
Power
Ash.
Rangers didn't have
I
shit
like
like
Ash
that.
like this.
Nostalgia.
Hey, Power Rangers wasn't like that.
I
It was
said
just
Ash, not Power Rangers. Fuck you.
What's the thing you like? That thing sucks.
I didn't even mean it like that. It was it just sounds like when it was GoBots compared to Transformers for me. Like it was just like you're selling me another thing. Like it's just okay. I care about this. No.
Yeah.
Oh,
When you can
well,
get the toy at Pick and Save, you know that's your shit's not working out.
Pick and save.
Yeah,
That's
go-
now we're talking throwback.
Yeah.
Pick and save next to Alpha Beta. I remember.
Alpha Beta.
look at the boomer. Look at the boomer get all excited.
Yeah.
I am technically a Gen X.
That's true.
I'm
you
not
are.
that one. Thank you.
That's So as we round the end of our episode, we're gonna go ahead and jump into our last topic.
Oh,
which,
Sorry,
Yeah.
last interruption, I promise. Unless we get another comment. For H5 Oka, Avatar was better than expected, so maybe the same. Oh, so maybe the same for Tron Ares. But then again, Jared Leto.
That sucks. He's like gotten plagued with which I'm surprised he keeps getting big projects considering like
That motherfucker won Academy Award, right?
Yeah.
For Dallas Fires
Dallas
Club.
Fires Club. Sure did.
yeah, he just seems plagued right now though. Like more what was first? Joker, Morbius. I guess that's it.
And then Morbius 2, it's Morbin time.
Shut up. Is it a Super Sentai suit? We were like, what the hell?
Vampire.
So we have reached the end of our episode, and we're gonna go ahead and dive into a new topic. Well, not a new topic, an old topic. We're gonna go ahead and talk about spoilers. So for those of you that are watching our live feed right now on Twitch and on TikTok, we're gonna go ahead and talk about The Last of Us, episode 1. If you guys have not seen it, I don't want you guys to log off, but you know it's gonna be spoiled. Oh, like 3 people just jumped off right now. I'm not even kidding. Oh, fuck The Last of Us.
We didn't give
So
him much time. That was today.
huh?
We didn't give him much time. That was today.
That's true, yeah. And anyone that's listening to us wherever you guys stream your podcast, pause it, okay, or fast forward it for the next 30 minutes or so, and we're gonna go ahead and jump into The Last of Us. So, The Last of Us. I have not played the game at all, but from what I saw, fucking masterpiece. From what I saw that first episode, that episode was fucking ridiculous. I loved it. I love the fact that it was an hour and 20 minutes.
Movie.
Yeah, I want more. So going around the room, anyone that's just joining our TikTok right now, I see a couple people joining in. We are talking about The Last of Us. If you guys have not seen it, jump off and then tune in on our episode that's going to go ahead on this episode that's going to end up dropping next week. Anyways,
Only if you don't want it to be spoiled. If you don't give a fuck, continue to listen.
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
that. So who's played The Last of Us? Fuck me, huh? Right?
Wow. You're the only one.
I'll pass.
As Aston Powers once said, I'll stay.
I'll stay. But sir, I suggest you hit. I'll stay. So as some of you know, I have now a PS5. I downloaded the PS5 version of The Last of Us. So I'm going to kind of try to play the game simultaneously as watching the show. I'm probably going to be in a world of hurt because I know it's going to go ahead and jump in and out a lot of stuff. But Luis, what did you think of the first episode of The Last of Us?
I very much enjoyed it. I watch most shows with my fiance, so she's my palette to like my neutral viewer to just see if it's good cinema or if it's because I have a bias for this type of thing. And she picked up her phone almost immediately. Like,
Nice.
I know. And that's usually my gauge of like, oh, she's not in it. And she thought it was long. Like, she didn't give me the satisfaction of what I was wanting of like, oh wow, what's gonna happen next? Like I halfway into the film or the first episode, she's like, I feel like this concept has been done a lot. It's
How dare she?
and I mean she wasn't wrong. I mean, I guess she's right, but it's just yeah, but this is different. Like just watch
Yes,
it,
but
goddammit.
no, exactly. It is different. That's what I was gonna say. It's the fungi. It's not like
It's not a virus or a bacteria or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
like that intro is not in the game, and it is so fucking perfect because it gives
Layers.
because we don't know exactly what's going on yet, but it's a nice primer
Mhm.
before you go in, especially for those who haven't played the game. So you're not just all like, what the fuck is completely going on?
Yeah.
So that intro was brilliant, I thought. And go ahead and finish up.
Okay.
And then
No, that's pretty much the end of it. I did dig it. I'm I'm very intrigued where the series is gonna go, and I'm open to where it's gonna go. I'm hoping it hooks the lady on the next episode.
Yeah. What about you, Andres?
I too watch it with my significant other, my wife, and she does not know anything about the game. And right when we were watching, she too picked up her phone right away. But when shit started going bad in the show, she was like all in. And then at the end, she's like, God damn it, we have to wait till next week for the next episode. I was like,
That's when you know they're hooked. That's that's
music,
so good.
music to my ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so my personal opinion, I played the game. I thought it isn't like a shot for shot because you, of course, you can't do that. But it is pretty dead on accurate. Like this is what a perfect film or television representation of a game should be like. This should be the formula should be copied from now on. Like Pedro Pascal plays Joel like fucking perfect. Yeah, I fucking absolutely loved it. I gave it like a 10. I was like hooked instantly. So I am very, very, very excited to watch the next episode.
Nice. Ash?
It's kind of crazy because, like, okay, when you play The Last of Us, you're Joel,
Right.
so it's crazy to see the decisions that are being made because that's the decisions you make in the game, kind of a thing. It's, I guess Instagram had me looking towards like what subtle nods, like the farm being on fire. Hey, that's blah blah blah's place. Like the little subtle nods of what you see. Actually, the whole fucking go back, go forward, go, like there was a bunch of fucking like nods to the game. It was nuts. And the first daughter did a great job of making me care because I fucking
1,000%.
bawled. Like, and I was like, what are all these scenes? Like, it starts off in the game like I'm trying to carry my child to, you know what I mean? Like, it starts off like you would think we're gonna go into like Doom. It's gonna be a shot for shot,
Right.
you know, whatever. But no, it was like the really subtle nods. Fucking really made me care when she is no longer around.
Like it was a gut punch, and it like made you care about the character, and it made you care how he changed 20 years later. Like he is a hardened man where he doesn't care about throwing that dead body of the child.
Yeah.
You know, it still left him scarred.
Yeah. So I watched it. I watched it by myself. My wife saw the trailer to it because I showed her. I go, "Do you want to watch?" Because that's how I kind of gauge, you know, new shows. When we're gonna watch something, like I'll ask her, like, "Hey, do you want to watch this?" And she'll say, "Well, what's it about?" Or if I can find a trailer, like I'll put on the trailer for it, you know. And I told her, I go, "It's post-apocalyptic zombie." She goes, and I kind of saw like the zombie again, you know. So it's kind of like, but it's different. It's not like a zombie, you know. I go, here, let me put on the trailer. So we put on the trailer, and it looked like she was hooked for the trailer, but then they showed the clicker. That's what they're called. At the end of the trailer, she goes, "I'm good. You can watch that." She goes, She goes, "Hey, you can watch it without me. It's not a big deal. Just watch it." She goes, if you're watching it and I walk into the room, she goes, just be warned, I'm gonna ask you questions. And I go, okay, cool, whatever, you know.
Oh, okay. It wasn't the scariness or anything like clickers, I'm out.
No,
Or
no, no.
it,
Yeah, she
it
was
was
just kind of
hope.
like, good, you know, like I'm good. Because right now we are all in for Yellowstone. We've been watching Yellowstone.
Oh, shut up. Me and Dana just binged that like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we are halfway through season 4. So
It's ridiculous how good that show is.
that show is fucking amazing.
Dude, I had no idea. Yeah.
Yeah, that show is fucking amazing.
Like when Steve Buscemi, like when Sopranos first came out, when fucking the Carnival whatever thing and Steve Buscemi's in it, like you avoid it for a million
Boardwalk
years.
Empire.
Thank you. You avoid it for a million years, and all of a sudden, like, hey, by the way, we're on season 5. Go ahead and invest in this. Like you're so late to the fucking party. Like,
well, and
fuck.
that the creator, Taylor Sheridan,
Yes.
whatever his name is, he also made Tulsa King on Paramount Plus, which is also pretty fucking great.
By the way, he was also in the first 2 seasons of Sons of Anarchy. He was a deputy sheriff.
Shit, guys everywhere.
And that's because everywhere I saw, like when I was scrolling through social media, and to go back to Yellowstone, to go back to Yellowstone a little bit, then we'll jump back into The Last of Us. Everywhere I was watching on social media, everyone compared Yellowstone to Game of Thrones, and I'm like, I go, okay. I
compare it more to Succession.
Okay, so hear me out, okay?
Because all the kids are pieces of shit.
And then there's the main head guy.
Yeah. So there's that, you know. So I hear that, and then I tell my wife, I go, hey, you know, they're talking about, because we have had Yellowstone on our radar for some time, but there wasn't like that, we'll get to it when we get to it type thing,
Sure.
you know. So then I kept on hearing, like, and this was like after House of Dragons, you know, was like, oh, they're comparing it to House of Dragons or Game of Thrones, and it's just like, okay, they're comparing it to this. Do you want to watch it? She goes, yeah, you know, let's sit down, we'll watch it. Finish the first season. She looks at me, she goes, this is nowhere near Game of Thrones. You know what this is? This is fucking Sons of Anarchy with horses. That's what this is. You know, so yeah, so we associate Yellowstone to Sons of Anarchy, you know, because if you really think about it, the first season, Casey is Jax because his fucking life is just hitting the fan and like everything, you know. So yeah, so we're like halfway through season 4, and I know I gotta find somewhere to watch season 5 because season 5 is still going on right now.
Well, season 5 I think just wrapped, but it should be airing on it'll be airing on Peacock next month. The whole season. So we're waiting on that too.
Okay, cool.
For season.
All right, how many episodes is it?
10.
They're like 10. The very first episode is an hour and a half, very similar to The Last of Us. And so we got hooked in the first episode because it's like a movie. It's like, here's the story, here's the world, enjoy. Like, and and Kevin Costner fucking kills it in that too.
My aunt introduced me to Yellowstone, and I saw the first episode, and then there was a sex scene, and it got real, like it got quiet. Like it was all like it was just awkward. Like you I don't know. It's like your ex, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like we can make it a joke. It was just all kind of like, please end.
Yeah.
Please end.
Oh, that was the scene where Beth hooks up with Rip, and she's like, I remember you bigger, and she walked away. I'm like, fuck, dude. She's such a bitch. I love her. Anyway,